Okay, so, new chair. Very comfy. And I'm very glad to have a new chair. Anyways, excuse the lack of energy, I'm tired. It has been a while. The last episode of this was a year ago. That shows just how behind I am. Way behind. This was one of the first games I started playing, like, 2-3 years ago, and I'm still trying to do this. I can't even remember most of the stuff that happened in the first route that I went through. Load game. And this. Oh, I forgot. Whoa. Oh my god. This is where we left off. Oh, right. Welcome back to Echo. I almost forgot to say those specific words. Jenna uses her newly acquired house key and lets us in. Sorry. Oops, sorry. Other way. Gotta bend these glasses back into shape. They're old, and they don't like to sit on my face very good. I'd spent so much time in Carl's house growing up that I stepped inside always. That stepping inside always kind of felt like coming home. Carl's parents were never as friendly as Leo's or TJ's, but they were often just straight up absent, which means we got the run of the place. I glance off to the side and notice a divot in the wood paneling next to the door. Carl slammed his head there when we were roughhousing 6 or 7 years ago. It's a wonder we didn't do more damage. Jenna, my mouth don't like to work sometimes. Jenna nudges me with her shoulder, and I shift my attention back to her. Hey, I'm gonna put something on in the living room. I'm not gonna do extensive voices. I just can't really do that. I tried for a couple of these episodes to do them, but I don't have that kind of voice. I can't drastically shift like that very easily. I've been mainly camped up there on the couch with my laptop while you guys were out earlier, trying to get some studying done. Despite the quiet, it's a little difficult to focus with all this going on. So, you want to watch some TV? Well, sure. I've got something in mind. She smiles at me, turning tail to head down the hall. I follow suit, briefly considering raiding the cupboards for snacks, but that kind of feels out of line considering the circumstances. Yeah, I would feel the same, honestly, because it just feels wrong. The guy this house belongs to is completely missing, and you raid the cabinet. It feels insensitive. Flab of skin from my lip. Not skin. You know. Flynn had turned the air conditioning off last night, so we've got this ceiling fan going overhead. It's doing a pretty good job of keeping me cool. The blades spinning so fast, they almost look still. Holy crap. Not even the fan blades and other... For some reason, this house only has a ceiling fan in the bigger bedroom and the living room. For some reason, in every other room in the house, there's no ceiling fan. It's just... I like to call it the nipple light or the titty light, because it looks like a boob, kinda. When I was a kid, I was always afraid of having my fan on the high setting. The thing would start to to wobble and click, and I thought that at any moment it would spin off its socket to come careening right towards me. I had that fear before. I actually knew how sturdy the ones in my house were. Like, the things were made of a really sturdy metal. To be fair, this house is really old and was made to last. If my doors are any indication, they're made of like metal. They are metal doors. There's even a bullet dent in one of them. Like, this is like a house that's almost over 100 years old. It's crazy. This one Carl has looks extremely sturdy, though. I just realized I've been holding my earbud. Kinda looks like it's made out of some sort of brushed copper with a turquoise painted metal base. Ooh. It's at this point that I realize I'm not doing a good job of focusing on the anime Jenna put on. I glance over to her to see if she's noticed my wandering gaze, but I see that her eyes are closed. At first I think she's asleep, though they begin to flutter open after some time. She rolls her head some in my direction, catching my gawking. My fucking voice trembled. I don't know why that happened. She smiles slightly, stretching her arms out over her head and letting out a long yawn. I feel tired too. What? What? I put on my best innocent face. This is one thing that a couple of visual novels get a bit annoying about, is some of them like this. Now, it's not super bad, it's just narrating is a little weird because it gives you the description of how said character kind of says it after it shows the dialogue, which is a little odd. I get that's how they do it in books, but if you're reading it out from a visual novel in a game like this, you kind of have to know beforehand, before reading, to know the kind of emotion and how they say it. To know, but if that's done after the character dialogue, then you don't know how they express those words or anything, so it's a bit tricky to know. Put on my best innocent face. Sorry, I didn't know if I read that or not. Just checking to see if you were as riveted by the ongoing development of Mr. Wong's fledgling dim sum business. An amused noise escapes between her lips, her left ear twitching some as she stares at the screen with half-lidded eyes. Have the magical demon girls shown up yet? The magical demon what? I thought this was a nice little, what do they call it, a slice of life thing? Well, I suppose that's how they get you. She hums her words, her tone sleepy and warm. They lull you into something calm, low pressure, giving you a chance to really live the setting before they pull the rug out from beneath you. Jenna's tone is infectious, and even I start to speak with a sort of rumbling, only half-serious whine. Do they all have to be like that? I mean, what if I just wanted a quiet, slow burn kind of show? Seems like all of them these days just have fantastical bullshit that comes out of nowhere. On screen, the character of Mr. Wong is a rotund red panda is cooking a batch of fried rice in a large wok. It's also lovingly animated for something so mundane. You can practically see each individual piece of egg, pepper, and seasoning he sprinkles on top. Chase, there are plenty of slow burn shows out there. And how would you even know? You told me you don't keep up with this stuff anymore. I mean, I occasionally, where'd the A go? I occasionally put some anime on when I'm bored back at Pueblo. Oh yeah? Well, I guess hanging out with you has made me kind of interested again. Excuse me. Ooh. Oh my god. There we go. Excuse me. Jenna, smile. Where'd the music go? Hello? Just went quiet. Okay. Jenna smiles again, and I can see the little tips of her tiny fangs. She shifts in her seat, scooting from her side of the sofa to mine. Her arms wrap around my torso, squeezing me some. Without really thinking, I rest my head against hers, and exhale for what seems like ages. I can feel butterflies in my stomach somewhere deep down, the light prickle of goosebumps along my neck. It's so intimate, so beyond the boundaries of closeness that Jenna and I have shared in the past. But it's comfortable, no judgment or pressure. Just two people on the same wavelength, both very tired, stressed out, and kinda slap happy. I watch her chest rise and fall against mine, her fur so much softer than mine. It's like running her paw through goose down? What? I slide my fingers around her shoulder and down her arm, then back up again. Is this just platonic? Like one of those cuddly girls' slumber party kind of things? We never did any of fucking blah. We never really did anything like this when we were younger, though. The closest thing I think. I'm so tired I can't read straight. The closest thing I can think of is when we shared an air mattress when we went camping for my 16th birthday. Leo having been out of town at the time, of course. You're very cute, Chase. Her words take me by surprise. The compliment so blatant, not something I'd been told in years. Music. It feels like a minute passes. Wow. It feels like a minute passes before I feel her weight shift beside me. She looks up at me, and I look back down at her. Next thing I know, her mouth is pressed against mine. Whoa! My heart skips a beat, skips in my chest, and there's definitely some tightness in my shorts. Whoa. Her muzzle is small, and my tongue easily fills its inside once she opens her lips. Whoa. We continue for some time, the noise of the TV seeming to fade into the background. An unimportant mumbling drowned out by our pounding heartbeats and the roar of the spinning fan above. It isn't until the episode ends that we're left in an actual silence that Jenna seems to pause. She pulls back, eyes on my chest, and her expression indiscernible in the new darkness. I'm a little concerned about moving forward with this. I've seen how these sorts of things can destroy friendships, and the one I have with you I truly value. I'm worried that we'll look at ourselves in the morning, in a couple of hours, be disappointed with ourselves. Wait. I stop for a second, frowning. Are you saying you don't want to? You know, at least in part because you think I'm gonna be bad at it? Jenna doesn't immediately respond. God, this is... My God! Music got loud. Jenna doesn't immediately respond. No. I've done it plenty of times. My voice comes out a little... I've done it plenty of times. I get that I'm tired, but it's only 12 p.m. Jesus. My voice comes out a little louder than I expected, and Jenna pushes a paw to my mouth, hushing me. I pull her away, repeating myself, but this time more quietly. I'm not bad at sex. I can feel my cheeks burning at this point. Jenna's increasingly amused expression not helping at all. Jeez, oh my God. Jenna shudders. Jenna's shoulders shake as she titters. Okay? As she titters, clearly tickled by how flustered I'm getting. I'm serious. I can see that. That's not exactly what I was getting at, but I'm very well aware that you and Leo snuck off every chance you could when you were younger. But as you may possibly know, there are several slight differences in anatomy between Leo and I. I continue to frown at her as hard as I can. Hey, don't give me that look. Now I actually feel bad. I grunt quietly. Well, how many guys have you been with? You got to ask me earlier at the diner, so it's only fair, right? After the first year of college, I pretty much lost complete contact with Jenna's social circle. Initially, it was because Carl never really wanted to go out, so we mainly just hung about in our dorm. But by the time Carl dropped out, it was like all our social links had been severed. I'd look at the pictures she'd post on her timeline and... Shit. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. I'd look at pictures on her timeline, but I wouldn't recognize anybody she was friends with. It was such a contrast seeing her with all these fancy events, wearing formal dresses and receiving awards. For a while, I thought she just changed, transformed by college life and the intellectual peers she'd surrounded herself with. But talking to her again this week, I've come to realize that's not the case at all. She was always that person. It was just everyone else that brought her down to our level, I guess. Been with? She leans back some, perking an eyebrow and putting on a professional visage, though she still had a mirth-laden look in her eyes. Are you asking about dating or sex? Both, I guess? Oh. About the same then. 6 or 7. 6.5? Let's just say 6. What happened with number 7? She lets out an amused noise, seems to think for a moment as she strokes her chin. No, it was nothing too serious. Just this guy who worked in the gym I went to. I believe he was a draft horse. My mouth goes a little dry. A draft horse? Mm-hmm. He smiles lightly. He was really sweet, and the muscles were nice. Usually I don't like being picked up, but it was definitely interesting, with him being nearly 7 feet tall. Holy shit. I stared blankly at her, eyes wide. She continues to smile at me, though the corner of her mouth twitches and she brings her paw up to cover her muzzle. Chase, I'm messing with you. Jenna, scowl. Wait, is that really your type? I thought you'd be more into, like, twiggy anime boys. I'll have you know my manga and anime interests do not control my love life. I like people primarily based off their personality. Yes. Oh, I'm fucked. Shit, I knocked my mic over. Ah! Oh, I knocked my mouse open and I froze. Sorry, I was not expecting that. Oh, that's funny. Oh, ooh. Oh, I'm fucked then. I'm trying not to laugh. It's so hard. Jenna chuckles at that. She reaches out and takes my paw, giving it a firm squeeze before patting my cheek. Though it feels nice, I'm still not sure how to take all this. I'm sorry for messing with you. Her voice is clear and soft as she punctuates the end of her sentence with a kiss on the tip of my nose. I'm admittedly a little nervous myself. Crossing new thresholds like this can be a little nerve-wracking. But make no mistake, I do want this. I let that settle for a moment before reaching up, taking a hold of each of her wrists. Wait, are you serious? Oh my god, excuse me. She nods happily. If you're okay with it, of course. Really? You and me? She nods again. Mm-hmm. Like boyfriend and girlfriend. The thought enters my head just before I speak it, and I have just enough time to close my mouth before it's uttered. She looks at me curiously. Just shut up and say yes. Yeah, I'm down with this. Yeah. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Whoa, 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 whoa. Also, if this is moving slow, the frame rate not being as good as it could be, I apologize. Thankfully, this is not a game where frame rate is imperative. You know, being just a visual novel that just shows pictures, it's not detrimental, but it would be nice if I could fix that at one point. Hopefully. Who knows? Yo! You guys been having fun? I glanced down at Jenna, her legs still twined in my own. I quickly tried to untangle us, scooting to their side of the couch and yanking up my shorts. She's quickly got a firm grip on my tail for some reason, and I have to grip my teeth to keep from yelping as it tugs. Gradually, I begin to see her turquoise eyes flutter open, blinking at her surroundings, then me, then the sound coming from the entrance hall. She rubs her face, trying to shake off the sleep fatigue. What'd you say? There's some clattering noise from the kitchen coming from the kitchen. I thought I was going crazy. There's some clattering noises from the kitchen coming from the kitchen. What? How did that make it past? What? Huh? Ooh. I'm not even. Whoa! That messed me up. Like the rustling of plastic bags and the clacking of Tupperware. Did he not see us? Thank fuck he's a lizard and can't smell us, at least. Thank God for that. I asked if you fuckers have been having fun. It's midday. Flynn, you got our texts. We were up late last night searching for Carl. Yeah, making yourselves at home here. What you got on over there? Hentai? Hell no. I checked the TV. It's frozen on a guide menu screen. Grab of a frantic anime girl holding way more bowls of soup than is ordinarily considered reasonable. Jenna yawns into her paw, quietly pulling up a black pair of panties around her thighs, followed by her trademark jean shorts. She's so lackadaisy about it, like she doesn't care if she's caught. Her expression is distracted, but not by Flynn or me, though she does manage a quick smile in my direction when she does focus her gaze my way. I return the smile, albeit lopsidedly. Half my face still feels tingly and asleep. So we're dead fucking certain that Duke doesn't know shit then. God damn it. I hear the heavy footfalls of the Gila leaves the kitchen, making his way around to us. He's holding 4 small plastic containers. He gives 2 of us. He gives 2 to each of us, setting them down on the coffee table. The insides are fogged from the condensation or steam. Fuck! My mouse is. Oh. My mouse wasn't even on the fucking thing. There we go. The insides are fogged up from condensation or steam, so I can't tell what they contain. It looks green, I guess. Flynn sees me gawking and lets out an exasperated puff of air through his flared nostrils. The top container's got Caesar salad. Bottom's got fresh cooked bluegill. Fish. I'm not a fish guy. Never really was the biggest fish guy, honestly. Bluegill? A blink at the steamy container. You catch that yourself? Yeah. Oh, when did my mouse get there? He perks a brow ridge. And you cooked it. Just for us? The line of question seems to give the Gila pause, as if he needs to make sure he phrases his next words carefully. Jenna smirks in my direction before blowing her nose into a tissue. I always have to do that in the morning, too. Because the way I sleep, I build up a lot of mucus. Usually I drops wrong voice. It's just really confusing that Flynn and Jenna are both yellow squares for their name. It's just a slightly different shade of yellow, but it's still yellow, and it trips me up every time. Usually I drop some off for Carl. He folds an arm over his chest. You know, make sure he doesn't go into a full-on diabetic coma. His arteries packed up with some pizza and energy drinks. It's very thoughtful of you, Flynn. Yeah, thanks, man. I give him a thumbs up, to which he just shakes his head. Whatever. Any word from the sheriff's office? Jenna reaches into her shorts and grabs her phone. She taps at it for a moment before shaking her head. Nothing since yesterday. The person I spoke with at the office said they'd reach out to me with any questions or updates they had. God, fucking useless. So goddamn overstaffed there anyway. How hard can it be to find one fat-ass rich kid in the middle of vast fucking nowhere? Apparently rather difficult. Uh-oh, that's not good. Not a happy child, man. Just waiting for Carl's parents to post for a reward for money or some shit. Shit. I don't think public entities get to claim those sorts of things. Flynn scowls at Jenna for a good 4 seconds before turning away and walking to the grand living room window and peering out at the backyard. I think I might remember kind of... Jesus. I think I kind of remember where Carl is held at this point, but I could be wrong. It has been a while since I have looked at this game at all, aside from playing it. So I don't remember. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, I fucking know that. It just don't make a lick of sense. No food, cars, or cell phones missing. Nothing valuable stolen, no break-in indications, beside the scuff marks you made on the way in. Flynn, if I hadn't gone through the window, Leo would have eventually shoulder rammed the front door down. Flynn folds his hands behind the back of his head, clenching his eyes shut. Yeah. God, what a fucking crazy ass. At least his desperate party attempt helped us figure out Carl was missing earlier. Jenna pushes herself off to her feet, walking over beside my brain, Flynn. She folds her arms over her chest. So, we briefly skimmed over this yesterday, but with regards to Carl's mental state leading up to all this, Flynn ever so slightly shifts his head in the Phoenix direction, beside difference dark as they stand silhouetted in front of the window. Is there anything you can think of that would help us out here? Anything to cause Carl to say fuck it and run out into the desert without any belongings, you mean? Yes. Jenna answers flatly. He's been depressed as hell. But that's how he's been since he dropped out of college. All that digital art shit he used to do, he hasn't done much of that either. Lately, sorry. Whenever I check my phone or computer, he's always online. Just send me memes and shit all day. Despite my efforts, there ain't been much Despite my efforts, there ain't been much in the line of indications he's been planning on changing that routine anytime soon. I'm sorry to hear that. She sounds genuine. Okay. That was for my audio books and digital books and stuff. I still have a couple of borrows still there, letting me know. She sounds genuine at that regard, letting out a quiet sigh. Ain't nothing you can do about it from fancy college land. I finally get my ass off the couch, silently hoping that I hadn't left the surface all oily. Think he's been getting high more. Says it chills him out. Helps with the nightmares and shit. Nightmares? Flynn nods. Yeah. He's been going off on how his house is haunted. Says things get all weird whenever he goes to bed. Weird how? Flynn is starting to look increasingly exasperated at my continued prodding. It's evident he wants to shift focus back on the search efforts. Fuck, Chase, I don't know. Bump of the night, creepy children whispers, distant laughing. That sort of that sort of thing. Said he only heard it. Said he only heard them when he was about to fall asleep or was waking up, so he could never investigate. Interesting. Really? You said that getting high was how he coped with this newfound paranoia. Let him sleep over once in my own room. Smelled like skunk week for a fucking week. Skunk week? Skunk weed. Slept over because he was afraid to be here in this house. No, he stayed over because I was plowing his ass. Wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't joking. His tone is laden with sarcasm. I even find myself snickering a bit at the shock. Jenna doesn't laugh, though, meeting Flint's gaze with an indiscernible expression. The Gila clears his throat, scratching at his stomach. Yeah, he was pretty afraid to be here. I know enough about Carl's family to know that his house is seriously old. His great something or other is the town founder, after all. The place has since been seriously modernized into a more stucco, whatever, adobe style. But there's some definite history underneath all this. Growing up, Carl started thinking there were ghosts in the house. Freaked him out pretty badly. So much so, his parents basically begged me to have sleepovers with him during the weekends, and even some weekdays. Not that I minded, of course. Carl had all the video game consoles that were out, and his parents bought him M-rated games. Must be nice. Shit's expensive nowadays. Got to stay up late with his Grant TV, blowing up aliens and running over hookers. I remember he started to become less afraid as time went on. His parents stopped asking for me to come over as much. So, of course, shitbag younger me told Carl a bunch of stories about a ghost bride I saw standing outside his house at midnight. And that's how I got to spend my whole 5th grade summer vacation living at Carl's place. And the fact that Carl is still freaked out about this sort of thing is pretty concerning. Well, to be quite fair, if I had the mindset that my house was haunted and saw whatever the hell that was blowing out my window, she pauses, shaking her head, I'd probably be rather freaked out as well. Yeah, but would you run outside? That doesn't make any sense. You'd think this place would be more ransacked if this was a fucking kidnapping or something. You don't try and kidnap a fucking ram without getting some serious dents and scratches in the drywall. The idea of Carl being assaulted like this is starting to give me a serious pit in the bottom of my stomach. Well, you did find some scattered plaster dust and marks on the wall near the basement crawl space. Yeah, maybe there could have been like an initial scuffle down there, and then he was held at like gunpoint or something. There's a look of sudden shock at the direness of my words that flashes across Flint's face. Anxiety, fear, concern, all expressions seldom seen on the lizard. He quickly stifles them, adopting his usual disgruntled demeanor, emitting forth a familiar grunt in response. Guys, I think we're escalating here. I don't, because, well, if it's any indication by the route that I went down, which was Leo's, shit gets crazy. And if shit went crazy in that route, I am inclined to believe shit goes crazy in all the routes. Though I saw TJ's in for like, most of the route, like, nothing happened. It was just mostly just a good old time with TJ. And then, close to the end, then shit starts going down, and wow. Anyways. No offense to you, Chase, but I think I might want to have a chat with Jeremy myself. You can come along, of course. Same to you, Flynn. Despite Jenna's assurance of non-offense, I can't help but feel a little bit shitty about not pressing harder for information while I was there. I mean, fuck. I want to be a journalist, right? Can't be getting intimate. I can't be getting intimidated by childhood bullies. Flynn nods, but only slightly. Yeah. But Chase said he told him that drugs he sold were laced. Laced drugs wouldn't result in that image on the phone. Shit, I ain't talked to that flunk ass in so fucking long. You were always a bit too old to get the brunt of his sadistic side when we were growing up. Thought that was mainly Clint. They all rubbed off on each other. Easily enough. Flynn pulls out his phone. Rather dated, first-gen looking thing from the late 2000s. He pecks at it with his large fingers, walking off towards the foyer. Gonna text TJ and Pinball Smasher that we're together and asking around. No need to be more specific than that. Trust me, I wasn't about to tell him where we were headed till we were done. Think I remember what happens, but I could be wrong. But I think I do remember. Vaguely. Poor TJ. I'll make sure to text him to make sure he's alright. We start to head out as well. When he suddenly calls out back to us. Oh, and bring your goddamn lunch. Took me for fucking ever to put that together. And away we go. Are you nervous? Are you nervous? I don't know why. My voice naturally just to this. I'm not doing extensive voices because I can't do super extensive stuff, but I'm doing slight variations. You know. I ask, trying to break the silence. Flynn takes his eyes off the road long enough to peer back at me, then through the rearview mirror, then glances over at Jenna. She's riding shotgun. I forgot I had that unlocked. I should probably lock that. There we go. Now I can't lean back. It spooked me a little bit. She's riding shotgun, cradling her fishy Tupperware in her lap so it doesn't spill. I already told you I wouldn't mind seeing Jeremy again. Well, what about you, Flynn? Why are you asking me? They weren't my bullies. I'm not sure if that's exactly true. I have distinct memories of the Tetanus Alley crew calling him all sorts of slurs back in the day. Well, they started a rumor that he was some kind of sodomistic gay rapist. Said rumors somehow wormed its way out of Echo to our high school. Remember there was this whole thing where he got called into the counselor's office about it. He proceeded to call the counselor a wretched, gashed cunt and got 1 week's suspension. It wasn't ever clear if any of that Damn, where does my mouse keep going? So there wasn't. He certainly never cried about it like TJ did. Sounds like more like you're the one with the issues. I frown. I'm gonna spill bluegill all over your seats. You'll be scrubbing the upholstery with my foot up your ass if you even open the goddamn lid in my truck. Chase already spoke with them. You said you only saw Jeremy, Heather, and Micah, correct? Jenna looks back at me and nods. Wait, did I read that right? Jenna looks back at me and I nod. I miss a word. Micah. Heard he was back in town a while ago. Never expected he'd turn up again after, 7 years? If he come by to say hello? There's a hint of teasing in her voice, responding to the Gila's latent disdain for the kid that's evident in his tone. He stole my fucking dirt bike. He stole your fucking dirt bike 8 years ago. Well, he was still kind of a shithead when I visited yesterday. Yeah? See the back of Flynn's scaly head cant curiously. What'd he do? Well, he didn't do anything to me, I guess. Just seemed like he hated my guts. Tried calling him out on his shit, and he wasn't having any of it. Called you a faggot? Of course. He smirks into the rearview mirror at me. Glad to see this is all so amusing to you. I'm allowed to think whatever the fuck I want is amusing. You're gonna ask for your dirt bike back? I ask, half joking, half trying to break the tension. I did get it back, remember? Little shit dented the fuck out of it, and I put his weird punk band stickers all over the body. But I got it. Literally had to go to his house and talk with his parents to get it back. Should have pressed charges. Which house was that again? It was the yellow, stucco. I don't know how to... I'm just gonna say stucco from now on whenever that word comes up. If anyone wants to correct me, be my guest, because I've never seen that word a day in my life. One at the end of Jasmine. One of the older buildings they constructed during World War II. Shit. His and mine were the only houses down there that weren't RVs or mobile homes. I believe it was condemned and demolished a couple years ago, right, Flynn? Flynn nods, turning off onto a dirt road. Oh yeah, roof was caving in. Electrical was a fucking hazard, and the pipes were lead-based. Lead-based? I thought that was banned before then. Major cities did. Technically wasn't in the building code until the 80s. Jenna frowns to herself. Let's just focus on the missing ram, right? We drive some in silence for a while until we see some smoke rising up from behind one of the older trailers. The hell's going on? Flynn pulls over. The distinct smoky smell of burnt biscuit pods waft through the air. It's actually kind of pleasant. Flynn takes out his cell phone, stepping out of the truck and hustling his way over to the source of the smoke. Jenna and I exchange a quick look before following in his wake. The aroma grows stronger as we round the abandoned trailer and make our way to an outcropping overlooking the rest of the area. There's even a slight apple-like smell mixed in. As we round the bend, I can see a few lawn chairs spread about a crackling bonfire. Some of the chairs have faded princess print designs, while the others are of the more traditional camping variety. Next to them is a fluorescent orange cooler and a portable grill-looking thing that kind of looks like a toaster oven. Don't think they got a permit for this. Oh, hi! I can't do her, the voice I know her by. Super high-pitched. My voice doesn't really do that properly. The high-pitched voice comes from behind, and next thing I know, there's a feline bounding up toward us. I see Jenna recoils some, the fennec lingering a bit behind the rest of us. Flynn, meanwhile, looks stone-faced, his hands in his pockets. Hello? I was here the other day, but we have some more questions about Carl, if that's alright. Were? She stares at me for a long moment. Too long, actually. Flynn audibly sighs. My nose keeps doing this. Ugh. Oh, I know you. You're Leah's boyfriend, right? Ex-boyfriend. Jenna chimes in, but seems to visibly regret it as Heather's attention swizzles to her. Oh my god, Jasmine, hi! I don't... Oof. She rushes over to Jenna, wrapping her arms around her in a tight hug. You look really good. Thanks. Jenna doesn't correct her on the name change for some reason. Instead, she very gingerly pats Heather on the back before withdrawing back a foot. I didn't shower this morning, so it's a wonder if true. Neither did I. Astonishing. Astonishing. Where's Jeremy at? Oh, hi, Flynn. Heather waves at him, despite the Gila being literally only a couple of feet away. Flynn furrows his brow some and limply waves his hand once before stuffing it back into his pocket. Jer. Jer. I keep doing the wrong voice. I keep getting mixed up. I ain't even the colors anymore. I'm just getting mixed up. Oh. I made a joke a while ago. Got really offended and walked off. It was so dumb. Where'd he walk off to? I don't know. Oh, let me go get you guys a drink. We're having an ahoa party. Before anyone can say anything else, she turns heel and scampers off. Her demeanor like an excited child. Once we're alone, I broach the obvious question. What's an ahoa party? Jenna looks over at me and shrugs. Meanwhile, Flynn squints at the land around him, folding his arms over his chest and mumbling to himself. Whose property is this? Thought she lived with her dad. One works at the dam. The lizard sucks on his tongue and quickly shakes his head, his question evidently rhetorical. She does seem different, doesn't she? Wasn't expecting the compliments after, well, she treated me before. Next thing we know, the feline is returning with 3 beers clutched to her chest. Yeah. Taking the really cold and getting my shirt wet. I blink and quickly step up to take one, kind of awkwardly sliding it from between her forearm and her cleavage. Not particularly hankering for a beer right now, admittedly, but I don't exactly want to leave her hanging. After a moment of hesitation, Flynn and Jenna also take a beer. You guys can have a seat around the bonfire, too. I glance over to the bonfire. It's pretty small, only about 2-3 feet high. Why anyone would want to hang near a bonfire during a 90-degree springtime heat wave is beyond me. Some of the chairs are kind of small, though, since they're for little girls. They're not very good for big boys. She looks up to Flynn, who stands nearly 1.5 feet taller than her. The phrasing is so strange, and her smiling gaze lingers way too long. What? I'm fine standing. Then shifts uncomfortably. She does know he's gay, right? Yeah, I recognize him. Those are mine. She points to the princess chairs, specifically one with the print of a female cat in a blue dress and tiara, surrounded by chirping woodland creatures. Or were. Oh, wow. You want him back? No. Why not? Stares blankly at her. Look, Heather. Look, Heather. When was the last time you saw Carl? Oh, She scratches herself, looking off to the side. I don't know. You should wait for Jer. He'd probably have an answer for you. In fact, I'll go look for him. Where are you? Flynn steps up. His brow reached forward. Simple goddamn question. And I'm asking you specific like. When was the last time you saw Carl? Heather reels back at Flynn's tone. Growls as Flynn's tone grows more stern, the cat clutching at her own arms. I don't know. You know who Carl is. You know. You blew him in high school. What? No, that was Tanya. Carl's gross. As I recall, Heather briefly dated TJ, not Carl. It was a weird coupling, with her being a couple years older, though I guess I have no room to speak there. She was kind of mean to everyone, so it wasn't surprising that they split. Ended up dating one of Leo's friends on the football team, if I remember right. Fucking whatever. Flynn waves off to correction. Excuse me. I remember taking an investigative journalism course freshman year that discussed interviewing techniques that used by the police department. It includes this big comprehensive list of tells for when someone is lying or obfuscating the truth. The way Heather's acting fits the description of a lot of aforementioned. Wait, Heather, you're like best friends with Jeremy. Heather still looks like she's about to bolt, but responds regardless. He's cool, but what is that? He sells pot around here? Jenna looks over at me, seemingly curious about where I'm going with this. Do you, like, need a plug? Because I don't get involved with any of that. I don't know anything. Quickly shake my head. No. Like, you're around him when he does that sort of thing. Were you there when he sold to Carl last? She shifts her posture some, cat scratching behind her ears as her whiskers bristle. She cuts herself off, trying to think of the right words. They don't want me talking about this sort of thing with other people. Especially you guys, since you all hate us. I'm supposed to say that I don't know anything, but I do. I'm not stupid. Her voice is raised now, and she clenches her fist against her stomach. Yeah, I get that, you know? It's totally cool. You're a fucking brainiac for sure. Oop, shut up. She screeches at Flynn, the Gila covering his ear holes with a wince. Jesus fucking Christ. Just ignore him, okay? He just wants to find our friend. We're really worried. Her dilated pupils flick back and forth between the two of us. There's another long silence. Like Keith. That name again. Sounds familiar. I look to Flynn and Jenna to see if it rings any bells with them. Not getting anything from Flynn, but Jenna frowns some. Hopefully not like Keith. That's why we're here now. Heather's shifting gaze meets Jenna's, holding there for a moment before refocusing to me. I was eating apple smoked jerky with Jer when Carl texted that he needed some stuff. He did the deal, but nothing special happened, I don't think. So nothing out of the ordinary. Heather thinks in silence for a while. Flynn mentioned... Flynn, meanwhile, bites the cap off his beer and takes a swig. Clint and Micah came by later and kept being really weird and pushy. Well, like Clint was. Micah just stole my jerky, but that's kind of how he usually is. Pushy how? About Carl? I think so. Wait, really? Flynn stops mid-drink, looking on in anticipation following her statement. Yeah, it was like about the money stuff, which I don't pay any attention to. Don't really use money that much anymore. I'm like aesthetic. Okay, but do you remember anything specific? I think so. I was calling Mike out for the jerky thing, but he just kept ignoring me. Clint kept talking over me, and when I got mad at him, he... Oh, fuck! Stand up! Asshole. And fix that. Oh. Unhide. Wait. Hang on. There we go. I got mad at him. He just started whispering to Micah. It was super rude, so I really remember it well. It's actually been, like, really hard to remember things lately. Oh. That was about all I could think of to respond with. As I look over, I can see Jenna tapping away at her phone, typing something. She peers up only for a moment, just long enough to give me a soft smile and a nod. She must be writing all this down. Flynn, meanwhile, is putting on an active effort to keep his mouth shut. He's waiting for me, expectantly, to continue. Before I can follow up, Heather starts speaking again, this time to Jenna. I don't really remember, why we didn't get along. Because the name Jasmine pops into my head. It's all, oh, that bitch. Then I just saw you just now, and it all just seemed so silly, doesn't it? Jenna doesn't even seem to react to Heather at first. She shuts off the screen to her phone and exhales, looking at Heather in the eye. She doesn't speak immediately. Sort of blatant tension in the air. Silly isn't exactly the word I'd use. Ooh. A dark look crosses Jenna's face, her tail stiff behind her. Your behavior through high school was utterly abhorrent toward me. I think you know that. Something feels off here. I mean, the music is getting ominous. I'm shifting to the side. Heather's face drops, the cat clutching her arm. I told you, my memory's bad, Jazz. She puts up a kind of babyish voice as she says this, looking sheepishly at Jenna. Do you honestly need a reminder? Heather begins shaking her head, but Jenna is already speaking, her tone curt. You were rude to me, even when I had done nothing to you, but I figured you were just insecure and left it at that. Then one night you came to me with no one else to turn to, tears in your eyes. You let me know everything that was going on with you at home. From that point forward, I was ready to defend you, to help in any way I could. Short of going to the police, of course, because you begged me not to. It started out as little things, the favors. You were too emotionally distressed to do your homework, so I should do it. You couldn't come to class because of a panic attack, and the teacher wouldn't understand, so I should lie for you. You needed money to see a friend in Peyton, so I should give you the money. This went on for some time until eventually enough was enough. I had my own problems, especially at home, and I just couldn't juggle the well-being of everyone. That isn't my responsibility. I told you up front that I was going through a tough time and I couldn't do those favors anymore. But I was always available to talk. That wasn't good enough, was it? Despite being busy with your fractured home life and distress of school, you still found time to create your elaborate revenge. The one person who cared enough to help. Next thing I know, your latest boyfriend of the week and his friends are pounding at my door at 10 p.m. What the hell does he tell Mom and Dad when they open the door? She deepens her voice in a dude bro accent. Yo, I'm looking for Jasmine. She told us to meet out here and get some. Not only did they convince my idiotic parents that I was fucking 5 guys, including your boyfriend, you told the whole school. I had my paw smashed in a locker, was fired from my part-time job, and almost lost all my friends outside of a select few great people. Jenna looked over, gesturing in both Flynn and my direction. You made yourself the sufferer in that narrative, the one who had mistakenly trusted the weird, horny anime girl. Jenna takes a sharp, deep breath from her nostrils, her composure otherwise completely solid. And you don't even have the dignity to atone for your actions when the chance is standing right in front of you. You continue to lie and manipulate your way through every social interaction to make yourself feel better. It's the perpetuation of the endless cycle of perceiving yourself as some sort of eternal victim, when in reality, it's complete delusion that hurts you and everyone around you. The way Jenna rattles off point after point regarding Heather's transgressions, it's evident this is something she's thought about greatly. Maybe even rehearsed. Heather stands there with wide eyes, slack jaw, and look on her face. I can practically feel the burning of Heather's cheeks, the shock of Jenna's words settling in, and her eyes beginning to moisten with tears. And by the way, it's Jenna now, not Jasmine. No. Heather moans slowly. It's like she's trying to refute what Jenna said, but she can't form the words. All she can do is make this bizarre whining noise. You're wrong. You always have to be right, but you're really, really wrong. Her paws curl into fist as she shakes, dignified. Flynn and I look at each other. Before we can say anything further, she storms off. In the distance, we can see her start running, her arms flailing with a palsy-like limpness at her sides. Can't help but feel sort of queasy sensation at the sight. This is what this place does to people. Jenna, meanwhile, just slits out alongside. Wow. World's worst? Jesus, my voice keeps doing that. World's worst fucking psychiatrist. Jesus H. You feeling better now? Jenna looks over to Flynn. Perhaps it was cathartic. I didn't know about most of that. I just thought she was mean to you or something. Like standard high school girl stuff. Yeah, must be nice getting the chance to do that, huh? There's some bitterness to Flynn's words. Probably ain't gonna help us find Carl, though. It needed to be said. Flynn grunts, shaking his head some in disbelief. Right fucking now, though, goddamn. Down the hill ways, the dusty shape of two figures can be seen emerging from an old shed. One of them pauses as he sees Heather sprinting off down the road, while the other ignores her and carries on. Eventually, though, the both of them see us and begin making their way in our direction. Whoop, here comes the gang. He spits on the ground, the smell of his venom wafting in the breeze for a moment. I'm guessing he bit that cap off too hard. Not all of them. I quietly shammer my way over to Jenna's side, lowering my voice some. You okay? Jenna seems slightly surprised at the question, giving me a slight smile. I'm good, Chase. Thanks for your concern. Thanks for the concern. Wait, did that say what I think it said? Where's my fucking mouse? Thank you for the concern. Sorry. After what just happened, I'm not sure how much I buy that, but I'm not going to press the issue. So what? Did you come back with your posse to intimidate us or whatever? Jeremy's dull eyes are focused on me. I'm starting to feel increasingly intrusive standing to their bonfire with their beer. This is definitely the sort of shit that would get me smacked down as a kid. Is he here? Smaller Bat whispers to Jeremy, seeming to be walking directly behind him as if trying to stay out of sight. No, man. Micah lets out a relieved sigh. After a moment, the familiar white fuzzy form of Micah emerges from behind the rotund Fennec. He's clutching something, though. Long piece of rebar. First I think he's holding it as a self-defense weapon, but then I noticed the hot white ash coated on the end. I guess it's a makeshift poker for the bonfire. Hello, Jeremy. I believe this is yours? She steps up, holding the beer that Heather had thrust upon her earlier. Her brother doesn't immediately react, and he stares blankly at her before bumbling over to take it from her. Hey, sis. Man, I'd like ask you how you've been, but I'm assuming good, right? Generally speaking, yes. Though we are still looking for Carl, as Chase here made you aware yesterday. Jeremy looks over at me with a whatever, I don't know, expression. The faint outlines of a grimace forming at the edge of his muzzle. Really? Really? Flynn steps up, the Gila tall enough that his shadow falls directly upon the smaller Fennec. Oh, Rockabilly, I don't see you much out here. Fucking wonder why. Micah glares at him from across the bonfire, the shifty-looking bat increasingly agitated by your presence. We told Schizo all about all we knew yesterday. Evidently not, and yeah, don't call him that. Jeremy lets out an amused noise, though it's clear he's also getting a bit tense, especially with Flynn's looming form. Heather was saying y'all were talking about Carl after the drop, all secretive-like. Shortly after he fucking disappeared. Y'all tit-dirts wanna extrapolate on that? Jeremy lets out an astonished puff of air, turning to peer past Jenna at me. Wow, dude. You really did fucking go crying to your friends for help. I feel a knot starting to form in my stomach, and I resist the urge to clench my fist. I'm just trying to find Carl. He's your friend too, right? Fuck no, rich tits don't got any love for around these parts. Didn't really think the guy had friends anymore after you two left. He points to Jenna and I. Flynn scowls but says nothing. Yo, does Mommy Mare know you're here? Micah's looking up at Flynn now. Cause I don't want to be harassed, bitch. I'm leaving that voice crack as the final take. That was perfect. That was amazing. Because it gives the nervousness and the anger at the same time. Flynn actually laughs, exasperated beyond measure. Kid, shut your mouth before I call your parents. I'm nearly 21 now, and you can't do shit. Yeah, I can call the sheriff on you for trespassing. And an unpermitted burning during fire season, and they'd charge your ass as an adult. Why's your faggot ass here instead of them, bitch? I am reading, keep that in mind, and I don't find that word particularly offensive like some people. But I know how people are. Remember, I'm reading this from a story that is playing out in front of my eyes in a game. It's just how that works. Jenna runs through temples with both paws. Okay, let's put a stop to that. We apologize for intruding on your Hoa party, but we wouldn't be here if this wasn't serious. This ain't serious to me. Seems like a big joke seeing you clowns back together. Micah, enough. Her tone is so stern and maternal that it visibly catches the bat off guard. He seems surprised that she even remembers his name. Look, let's just have a seat, alright? Alright, sis, whatever you say. Micah blinks at Jeremy's response, then grumbles quietly. Yeah, whatever. The bat looks over his shoulder before moving to one of the camping chairs and taking his seat. Jeremy does as well. Both seem to make a conscious effort not to sit in the princess one. Flynn takes another swig from his beer and joins them. I hesitate a bit, but Jenna beckons me forward. As I sit, this stinging burn from the fire, mixed with the glaring heat of the sun above, and it feels kind of like I'm slowly being cooked. It's incredibly uncomfortable, but I seem to be the only person bothered. Oh, by the heat, that is. We got empanadas in the mini oven. Is that an offer? It's a threat. What? Dumbass. Boys. Micah shifts in his seat. He keeps looking to Jenna as if wondering why he's even humoring this. He miserably pokes at the bonfire with his rebar, sparks flinging forth and dissipating in the desert dust. Oh, Jesus. Jeremy, meanwhile, scoots his chair over and peers inside the little toaster oven-looking thing. It's hooked up by what looks like a 50-foot extension cord that goes into the shattered window of the nearby trailer. Yeah, they probably need a little bit more time cooking anyways. Now, about Carl. Yeah. Didn't want to tell you, you know. He gesticulates towards me. He's been, like, really depressed as of late. I mean, anyone would get that impression if they talked to him a little. I think, like, once you're so rich, you have everything you want. You don't need to work. It fucks with you. Life alone ain't good enough, man. Nah, if you know what's good for you, it stays between us. Cool. Looks from Jenna to Flynn, and then finally to me. Micah's staring hard at Jeremy. The runty bat's lips thinned over his little fangs. Sure? Yeah, whatever. I suppose it depends. Flynn sighs loudly, placing his face in his hands. We didn't do nothing to Carl direct like. He just kept telling me he wanted to feel something, you know? Didn't care what it was. Didn't care what it did to him. Kept telling him, like, nah, man, you're too soft for this. But he wasn't having it. So I gave him, like, a sample bag. Thought you told me you didn't give him anything else. I said I didn't give him anything laced. There's a difference, yo. Plus I figured you would have found his tweaking fat ass by now. A sample bag or what? From practically growls. Speed. You gave Carl meth? Carl asked for fucking meth? That's horseshit. I don't know what to tell you, man. You must not know him as well as you think. Carl and meth? That doesn't make any sense. Carl got really into the enlightened drug use thing in high school, but he was never on board with stuff like that hard. Flynn is fuming in his seat. Even Jenna looks perplexed. Jeremy, where are you getting meth? Yeah, that's enough questions. Yeah, out of respect for your situation and stuff, I thought you should know. But we ain't got anything more than that. God damn it. Flynn's face is pulled into a silent snarl, eyes clenched shut. Jenna's just frowning to herself, phone in her lap. No one says anything for a while. I have a million questions, but I don't think they'd answer any of them. For some reason, the first thing out of my mouth is, what's in a hoa party? Jeremy and Micah both look at me with quizzical expressions. Something that Keith came up with. Yeah, it means like happy in Satan or something. Well, not exactly happy, something more profound than that, I'm sure. Everything had a fucking deeper meaning with him, didn't it? Jimmy lets out a mirthless snark, the Fennec grabbing a few paper towels before taking the empanadas out and setting them on a small tray. Yeah, but who's Keith? How the shit do you not remember Keith? Micah looks downright offended. It sounds familiar, just can't put a face to the name. Well, you're in luck, Muskman. Not sure what he means until I see him move to pick up something, sitting in one of the half-folded up camping chairs. It's a picture frame with a bunch of different pieces of handwriting on the back. To my surprise, he walks over and hands it to me. In the frame, there's a pretty an elaborate picture of a stone-looking gray fox. He's in a ratty lifeguard bucket hat, wearing an oversized hoodie with this stylized-looking eye on it. I feel like I've seen him before, but only in passing. Bring this with you everywhere? Just to the bonfires. Kind of like a super old tradition we picked up after what happened. I know it's like super culty, creepy and shit, but Keith would have thought it was neat. It was all about the whole moral support, big brother vibe. What happened to him? The question's blunt, and this seems to be one hell of a sensitive topic for these guys, but now I'm genuinely curious. He went missing. One day he's here, slinging dope and playing foosball with us at the moldy shack he ran a bar out of. Next he's gone. No one knew where he went? Nope. Next thing we knew, Micah poofed as well. Bad looks genuinely guilting, squirming in his seat. Didn't expect you to show up either, though. Same goes to you, I guess. He looks over to Jenna. She responds with a polite smile. Nothing more. What's going on here? As I hear Clint's voice, I see Micah quickly sit upright, visibly startled. There they are. Look, I told you. I didn't tell him anything. Heather's tugging at the weasel's tank top, but Clint quickly smacks her hand away. Clint. Looks like death. Don't know what that first word is. Also never seen that word before. Disheveled. Disheveled teeth rotting out his head. His fur falling out. And pink lesions? I don't know. Dotting his flesh. Jeremy and Micah look pretty rough, but nowhere near as bad as him. I quickly hand to Fennec his picture back. We were just leaving. Jenna pulls her purse tight to her side and stands up. Thank you for your hospitality. It's good seeing you again, Jeremy. I should fucking kill you three right here, you little cunts. Get the fuck out. Now. Go. I ain't gonna actually yell all that. Jesus. Clint stomps off towards a nearby trailer, squaring up a storm. Oh shit. Michael quickly refocuses his attention on the rest of us. Yeah, get the hell out of here. I half expect Flynn to start shouting back, but instead, I look over, he's already up. Diggy was making a clicking noise and gesturing with his head towards his truck. Okay then. I quickly get up out of my seat and fast walk to catch up with him, and Jenna does the same. What the hell? Is all Jenna can say as she shakes her head in disbelief. We hop in Flynn's ride and take off without looking back. I am going to leave it off here. If you enjoyed this video, I guess, like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what else to say. I don't really mind. I'm gonna record a second video after this because I'm trying to catch up on this. I'm trying to get... I am trying to do this game, and I'm gonna try and just run this game up and start completing some stuff. The second game after this is going to be Psychic Connections. That's not currently finished, so I'm going to get as far as I can with it. But then once I've done that, then I can move on to, I think it was Morinatsu, Revisited. But yeah. That has been Echo. Again, the longest awaited return. Well, not quite the longest. There was, I don't actually know which was the longest, but both times there was a suspension of this. Pretty large. Now, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, and then I'm gonna start on the next episode. But I hope you enjoyed this. Bye, I guess.